How exciting.
That's right.
I'm so stoked to have you back on.
Pleasure, man.
We've had a number of people specifically request that you come back on the mic.
Thanks, man. That's humbling.
I wanted to have you on the mic because we had some fun stuff happen at Rose City the other day.
Which I missed. I had to work.
You should have been there, man.
I know.
Something interesting that happened was that I was talking to John Hill, and he was going through his comic books that he purchased, and there was a Marvel Age comic book there that he bought, and he said something interesting. He's like, I had to buy these because everyone's asking for it.
I don't know.
Right?
I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
I don't know what's going on here. And I knew that book in particular had been spiking. It actually made the CBSI hot list a couple weeks ago, or if not over a month ago. Mm-hmm. But in particular, I went to the next dealer, one of my other friends there. I do this a lot. When I go to conventions, it's partially to like hunt, partially to get signatures and to meet artists and writers, but it's also to like learn stuff.
Yeah, it's basically our school. We go to talk to everyone that we know, get different their opinions on what's hot, what's not, because someone or some publication might say, "Oh, this comic book is great," or "It's crap," but we talk to people that actually buy and sell comic books, and it's like, "No, this is what people actually want."
I've had 10 people ask me for this book this week. I had 20 people ask me for this book this week. You know, these guys have a lot of customers, whether it be at their brick and mortars or they're doing multiple conventions. So they're getting this experience all the time. So I go and look and see what's on their wall. Mm-hmm. You know, this is telling. You know, you can look on eBay, but when you're at conventions, you pay attention to these kind of things. You're going to learn what's maybe up and coming.
Right.
New keys that have developed. So I took that information with this Marvel Age comic book and I went to my other dealer friend. I have to give a shout out to Disc Heroes, my buddy John over in Portland. And he mentioned, yeah, man, these Marvel Age comic books, they're super hot right now. But do you know why? I had no idea.
Me either.
I mean, I had some ideas on some particular ones, but he mentions like, oh, go back to your 47th edition of Overstreet and look it up. You guess what's not in the 47th edition of Overstreet?
Mm-hmm.
Marvel Age Comics, for the first time, has been included in Overstreet this year in the 48th edition.
So crazy because I used to have hundreds of these and I never even bother selling them. I would give them away. If some kid was getting some comic books, hey, you want it? Here, take that.
That's your free stuff.
Yep, that's your free stuff.
It's the swag. It's the stuff you add in. It's the stuff that ends up in the quarter bins. And a lot of these issues have started to become popular enough to make the Overstreet. Mm-hmm. Now that they're in the price guide and we have numbers associated with those issues, we now have a list to talk about.
Ooh.
The highest priced Marvel Age comic books. Mm-hmm. Technically, there's not even comic books.
No, it's like a preview type thing, and it's like a magazine almost.
It's smaller and is actually filled with like interviews and previews. But this was done in comic book format with comic book binding, 2 staples, and was released monthly. So these issues present like a comic book and they grade like a comic book.
That's right.
And a number of these predate characters and events that they advertise.
That's right.
Now, some may say that these issues don't count as key status, but the market is currently deciding that that is not the case.
Yeah, fans think otherwise.
So let's break this down to the top 10 Marvel Age comic books.
Let's do it.
Coming in at number 10, Marvel Age issue number 25.
Rocket Raccoon.
This predates the Mignola 4-issue miniseries. Mm-hmm. Which is pretty cool. This is an early Rocket Raccoon cover. Currently prices at $9.2, $10.
Not bad.
No, affordable. Not bad for a quarter bin comic book.
Yeah, for a giveaway comic book / magazine.
Exactly. And it's got a cool cloak and dagger cover.
Yeah.
And again, these are low print too.
I know.
So it's kind of an interesting thing here that we have a comic book that's moving up in price that isn't technically a comic book.
Yeah.
An awesome Rocket Raccoon cover, a recent new minor key appearance.
That's right.
That's probably out there. Good luck on the hunt.
Coming in at number 9, number 38, He-Man preview. Oh. And it predates the Masters of the Universe, the Marvel Universe He-Man appearance.
Okay, so that issue number 1 of Masters of the Universe is known to be the first appearance of He-Man in Marvel Comics.
Correct.
And this predates that.
Correct.
In comic book format.
Yeah. So it's basically the first appearance of He-Man and comic book and Marvel Universe comic book world.
So it's like as if you would expect to see that written on eBay listings currently.
Yeah.
Oh, and you do.
Yeah. Again, would give it away. And now $10.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Affordable.
Yeah.
It's out there. And it's a really cool He-Man cover. I'm appreciative that they put He-Man on the cover of this preview because it could have been like later in the issue and would have been his first appearance. But I think because he's actually on the cover, that's why it gets this label.
Well, and they also do that it might something might be in the comic book that is the first appearance of, but the cover is something else, or the cover is something, and that's the appearance because of the cover, which we'll get into later.
Actually, we're going to get into that right now.
Let's do it.
Because at number 8, we have the annual, Marvel Age Annual number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now, something about this comic book, you're going to see a lot of characters on the cover here. Priced at $10, we have the first appearance of Damage Control.
That's right.
Boom. This one right here, $10 at 9.2, something that is commonly available. You're going to find this online, likely in stores, something that a lot of people are going to be missing.
Oh, yeah.
And we have Damage Control making press right now, a new show in the works.
So get on it. Coming in at number 7 is a Star Wars preview. And it has Star Wars in the cover. But inside, it has a Spider-Man versus Hobgoblin preview of Amazing Spider-Man 250-251.
It's a classic storyline.
Absolutely.
Known as The Big Battle.
Yeah.
You know, it's that classic Hobgoblin. Spider-Man's ripping the mask off a Hobgoblin in that 251.
Cool.
And what is this guiding for?
$12.
Boom. Awesome.
You can't go wrong.
And I really like that storyline. It's classic. Yeah. All right. Coming in at number 6 on this list, we have issue number 91 of Marvel Age. Now, this is super interesting. We have Silver Surfer and Thanos on the cover.
Right.
This is an issue that I'm sure a lot of people are going to recognize because, I mean, I feel like I've seen this multiple times in my life.
You have. It's the thing.
And then it's because you have. Exactly. But what's really cool about this issue is that it has a preview for an up-and-coming series.
Little series.
It's a little series. Just happens to be Jim Starlin's favorite Thanos run. A preview for Thanos Quest.
Man.
Okay, so now we are headed into deep waters here. Buckle up. Buckle up. Because, okay, this isn't a comic book.
Yeah.
This isn't a comic book.
Yeah, this is just a preview. It's not even, it's just a blurb about it, what's coming. And it came out a month later.
Okay,
but Thanos Quest.
But technically, this is the first appearance of Thanos Quest.
Absolutely.
Because it has pages from the story in it.
Yep. Which reminds me of a book that we love. It's called Absolute Vertigo.
Oh, that's a great example. It's the same thing.
Right. And it's the first appearance of Preacher.
It predates.
Preacher. And it just takes a few pages of the Preacher number 1. And that's first appearance. And to this day, that's what it's considered, first appearance of Preacher.
CGC puts that on the label that it predates Preacher number 1.
Correct.
As the first appearance.
And I've given a couple for the mystery mail call.
That's correct. And this issue of 91 is going for only $12. And I'm thinking like, if I was an Infinity Gauntlet collector, you would have to have this with your Thanos collection, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
And it has to go up.
It has to go up. I can't imagine it not going up.
It's hitting OVERSTREET. The prices are reflecting the market, and this book is now going up for sure.
Nice.
Coming in at number 5, we have Marvel Age issue number 90. Now, this is a classic McFarlane cover with a Jim Lee interview on the inside.
Awesome cover. Classic Spidey pose.
That's right.
Classic Todd McFarlane. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's reminiscent of kind of 300.
Yeah, it's Spider-Man number 1.
Exactly. And a Jim Lee interview on the inside.
Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong. And affordable, $15
Yeah.
at 9.2.
And coming in at number 4, issue 97, first appearance of Darkhawk.
It's like He-Man.
Yeah.
So it previews Darkhawk,
Correct.
but because it's on the cover,
Again, a preview of what's coming.
now it's going for $15.
That's right.
9.2.
Sweet.
All right, another affordable one that is being changed on eBay listings reflecting that first appearance. Is this the first appearance? I want to know the audience's thought about this.
Yeah.
Because this has happened a couple times on this list already. Are these appearances in what is literally an ad? This is not a comic.
Right.
should we be considering these first appearances?
Would you, if you're a Darkhawk, Thanos, or any of these fan, would you search for these?
Yeah. Would you buy them?
Yeah.
Would you grade them? Because you can get these graded.
Yeah.
Now, let's move on to number 3 on the list. Number 3 is issue number 138, another comic book going for $15. I like how a lot of these are affordable. Well, for one, this is a Deadpool Cable cover. Both characters are hot. Cable is newly hot.
Cable / Thanos.
Correct. I know, right? And then there's also another thing that I think we should give a little kudos to in this issue. This is the Remembering the King special.
That's right.
Jack Kirby. By the way, this cover on the Marvel fandom website calls this a computer painted cover.
Yeah.
I mean, a book that's dated in 1994, this isn't something that was super common.
There are not many of those. And I don't think I've seen Deadpool.
It looks different, doesn't it?
Definitely looks different. And it's kind of cool.
It is cool.
That makes it a little different than other books like that.
I'm going for $15 at 9.2.
Can't beat that.
Not bad.
And coming in on number 2, one of my favorites, by the way. Number 12, first appearance of Spidey's black costume. Predates Amazing Spider-Man 252 and Spectacular number 90. How do you like them apples?
I know, for real, man.
I didn't even know that. I just found that out. I'm like 252 or Secret Wars 8. That would have been my answer. This wouldn't even come up.
Right. It's a interesting thing. We actually have a video that I'm not sure if it's going to have come out by now, by the time that this podcast comes out, or if it's going to come out after, about all the Spidey black suit appearances, because there's actually a few more than this issue as well that even predates those. Again, Marvel Age, it's not a comic. It has all of these like letters from the fans in these things and like ideas that it's like the way that Marvel was communicating with their audience.
Right. It's not a comic book.
So there is a request that Marvel made to have fans write in ideas for characters, like just new ideas for storylines. And one of the Marvel fans wrote in an idea they had for Spider-Man, and he drew a couple mock-up designs of Spider-Man in a black costume. And he called it kind of like a stealth version of the Spidey suit. Jim Shooter would go on to purchase this design for like a couple $100 and
screaming deal
for a good deal. And yeah, that would become the black suit and would first appear in canon in Secret Wars 8, but it would appear to the audience, to the public, in 3 issues that all came out in the same month. Marvel Team Up 141, Spectacular Spider-Man issue number 90, and of course
252.
ASM 252.
Yeah, and it reminds me of the whole thing with Fantastic Four 20 that has a letter written by George R. Martin, which could be considered his first published thing ever.
Yeah, first published work. I would.
Yeah.
There must have been a teenager writing into Marvel just telling Stan how much he loves the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
We have this book, the first appearance of the black costume, in a fan idea.
Which became the coolest looking Spider-Man.
Coming in at $25 at 9.2. And prices are actually creeping up on this book on eBay. So this is a good one to keep an eye out for, and one to possibly be speculating and picking up now.
Absolutely. And coming in at number 1.
Number 1 on this list, to no surprise, issue number 41 of Marvel Age, the classic Stan Lee cover.
The man!
The photo cover.
That's right.
It's a classic Stan Lee issue. This issue has, there's been a number of issues that have featured Stan on the cover.
Right. That's what
Just
he does.
like it's what he does. It's what he's known for.
Yeah.
Even in the Marvel movies and everything. This book has become Stan's key.
Right.
And I think it's because it's a photo image. He looks well. He looks like he did in his prime.
Yeah.
And it's just a cool piece of history because this was, again, the fan communication. This is how Marvel communicated with their audience and bounced ideas back and would get feedback on the many titles that they were producing every month.
Coming in at $75.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
But it's Stan.
The man. And this is the comic book that John Hill, our friend from Hills of Comics, was talking about that he had picked up.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know why all of a sudden this is so hot, but I had to get 2 of them.
Yeah.
And if you want it, we got it.
That's right.
But that's what we do. We have to figure out, by keeping track of things like the Overstreet price guides, and also keeping track of what the audience and what the community is interested in, we're going to see new keys like this come up out of the woodwork.
Absolutely.
And you should like and subscribe to the video so you don't miss out on future ones, because we're going to be the ones to report it when it happens.
That's right.
We do appreciate your time. Thank you. And as always,
geek responsibly.
Enough said. Thank you so much for watching the video. Don't forget, we do have Geek Responsibly shirts. If you want to help support the podcast, rep the merch, get into the video. Shout out to Jason, Certified Comic Shop. Thank you for repping the merch and supporting the podcast. Be like Jason, support the shop. Hit that merch tab and geek responsibly all the time.